morning, Cleveland, United 93, is at good 350, intermittent light stop. United 93 checking in 350. United 93, 350, roger. United 93, that traffic for you is 1 o'clock, 12 miles eastbound 370. Negative contact, we're looking, United 93. Somebody call Cleveland? United 93, verify 350. United 93, verify your flight level 350. United 93, verify your level of 350.
September 11th was probably the scariest day of my life. As I was working in Manhattan, I remember it vividly. And from watching the planes hit the towers, from trying to get off the island, trying to get to my sister so we could get back to New Jersey and get home. Everywhere you went, there was fear, there was panic. But the one thing I'll remember the most about that day was how New Yorkers were really true humanitarians, helping each other, looking out for each other, and all with a look of disbelief on our faces as we never believed war would come to our country.
So it was September 11th, and it was my son's 5-month birthday, and we were playing in the living room, and my husband was getting ready to actually go to the World Trade Center. Him and his brother, they owned a company, and one of their offices was located in the World Trade Center. And as always, my husband was running late, and the TV was off, and I get a phone call from my parents who lived overseas at the time. And they were in a panic, and they wanted to know if everyone was okay and if my husband was okay, and I didn't understand what they were saying, so I turned on the TV, and I had seen that the first building was up in smoke. Didn't understand what was happening, and as I was on the phone with my parents, I saw the second plane hit, and all of a sudden I said, what, this can't be for real, what is this? Is this some like hoax? Or quickly called my husband over, and we were watching, and he got very panicked, and he started making phone calls to check on his employees. And he quickly went down to his Midtown office, and I'm here by myself with my son and don't understand what's going on. So, very stunned. It didn't hit me for some time, I think. Maybe an hour or two later, I went to the rooftop of our apartment, and all I see, the highest level I think was like 42, so I went up pretty high, and all I saw was smoke coming out, and it was just smoke everywhere. And I was just watching the news the whole day, and it just seemed unreal. And my husband had to account for all his employees. I think their offices were on the 82nd floor, so it was just below where the airplane had hit. And all their employees had made it out, except one employee. He made it out, but he had severe burns from the jet fuel. He was okay, but had to undergo a lot of surgery. And they had obviously. They didn't have that office anymore, and he was very busy in the months afterwards taking care of business. But I remember that very eerie, weird feeling when you left the apartment building. All you smelled was smoke and ash and a very nasty smell, and you couldn't really pinpoint what that smell was. But there was just like a haze and a fog, and people's faces were very stone-like, and it was very quiet. New York is usually very bustling and a lot of noise, but it was just very somber, very quiet, and you'd walk along the streets and you'd see people with candlelight vigils, and it was very bizarre. But 6 weeks later, people kind of got back into the routine, and everything was kind of back to normal in a sense that activity resumed, but there was still like this underlying feeling of what just happened. And I remember I didn't ever really cry or mourn that first few weeks, because it didn't really hit me. And then once I'd seen a mother and a child, and they were just walking down the street, and it just hit me all of a sudden, and then I just started bawling. So what just happened, it was very bizarre and odd.
All right, take one and two, one. This is as close as we can get to the base of the World Trade Center. You can see the two towers. Debris continues to fall and to rain on the people below. There are people hanging from the windows 90 stories up, and a number of bodies have actually hit the pavement. Another one? Take two. Take two and two, one. This is as close as we can get to the base of the World Trade Center. You can see the firemen assembled here, the police officers, FBI agents, and you can see the two towers. A huge explosion now, raining debris on all of us. Now get out of the way.
So I was doing a job in Haledon, which is close to Patterson, and the route that you take for that is 208. So this is early afternoon now. So as I'm driving on 208, I'm still wondering what the heck is going on, just like everybody else. There's a point on 208 where you can actually see the New York City skyline. So I actually didn't realize it until I came upon it, and it's right before you get to Haledon. Patterson exit. So I see all the smoke. So now it's really becoming real to me. I actually feel like, I'm close to it, which I'm not, but it felt that way. So I get to where I'm going to, and now it's getting even later, and I'm wondering, like, okay, what do you do now? Do you stay home? Do you see, you watch the news? So obviously, I stayed home, turned the news on. Neighbors are starting to, come out of their homes. Everybody's talking, so I go outside. People are wondering, really, if there's anything else that's going to happen. That was probably the scariest part of it all. Like, what else is going to happen? Now, as the day goes by, now it's getting a little darker, and we realize that there's a no-fly zone. Like, there aren't any airlines that are allowed to fly. So we're looking in, up in the sky, and there are a couple planes going through. And we're like, okay, now what? And we're close to Patterson. I'm maybe 10 minutes from Patterson, and a lot of the Muslim cells were located in Patterson. So now, now we're kind of creating things in our own mind and wondering, are we going to be attacked by, these groups, or are they going to parachute people in? And our imaginations were running a little bit wild. Obviously, nothing did happen. Things calmed down. Anything we heard, though, you know, for the rest of the night, you know, as far as just these noises, or, you know, you were wondering, like, what really, you know, could happen, because it was pretty surreal, like, to have that happen